day here in Victoria, BC, and I kind of just took it easy today. It's a Thursday. I've been really busy the last 3-4 weeks between listings and out of town buyers, and this morning I had 3 showings, and then I just kind of decided to take the rest of the afternoon off. I was feeling a little bit like having a sauna, so I went over to the Oak Bay Rec Center and I used their sauna. It's a great sauna, it's a decent size, so I could actually do some yoga stretching in there while I was in there. And then they don't have a cold plunge pool outside of that, but they do have a cold shower. So I did a few rotations back and forth of that. I walked home, and then I had a little cup of some bone broth, which is full of protein and apparently good for you. I'm on a little bit of an extra health kick at the moment, just trying to get my energy levels up and making sure I feel really good. And so I'm working with Karlee close, who is actually a past client of mine. She has her own company called Bloated. She does health coaching, and she has been really exceptional to work with and helping me facilitate some of these longer term changes that I want to make in my life with my diet and how I feel after I eat certain things and things like that. So that's been really positive. And with some of these positive food changes, I'm also trying to make some other positive lifestyle changes, and I do enjoy a good sauna as part of that. My favorite place to go and have a sauna is over at Haven Harbor Saunas, which is down in the Inner Harbor. It is such a relaxing, beautiful space. It's a converted tugboat. They've got a number of different sauna rooms at different temperatures. Some are really hot, some aren't quite as hot. Then they've got different temperature pools, and they've got a salt scrub shower, and you're not supposed to talk when you're in there. So you pay, I think it's about $85. You get about 3 hours of time. You have the most beautiful views of the Inner Harbors. You can watch the planes come in and land and take off. I think it would be a great thing to do on a beautiful day, and also a really cool thing to do when it's snowing out. So that is like my #1 go-to space, but that's kind of pricey to do that one regularly. So today it was just the Oak Bay Recreation Center, but there is another one downtown, I think called Nordic Spa. I haven't been to that one. I think it's quite a bit smaller. They have a little bit of a circuit there as well. And then for those of you that are more into the outdoor kind of more natural environment, there's a company in town called Wildwood Saunas. And they have mobile saunas that they take to different locations, and then people can cold plunge in the ocean and then hop into their saunas. They do now have a station of saunas set up at Bilston Creek Lavender Farm, and I actually did that for my 40th birthday. So you can go and sauna with friends, and then they have the 3 cold plunge pools and a cold kind of shower and stuff that you can use afterwards. That was, yeah, really an invigorating way to spend the afternoon. And then my sister came, and she's come to pick up Aiden early from daycare because it's such a nice day. And she's gonna take him and do something with him, which is awesome for me. Can you tell me what you think the best neighborhoods in Victoria are? Vic West. Vic West. You're a little bit biased because you live there. What makes Vic West so great?
Walkability, the Goose, the E&N pathways, close to the waterways,
yeah,
close to walk to downtown,
yeah,
but you're not in downtown. You can get out of town relatively quick.
Are there any neighborhoods which you would say are like the worst neighborhoods in Victoria that you think that people should avoid?
Downtown, potentially.
Maybe North Park-ish, kind of?
Yeah, like injection site areas and homeless gathering spots.
What do you think of Langford? Do you think Langford is a great place for young families, or are you kind of...
I don't know if I know enough to give an honest opinion, but I think it's probably a pretty good place for young families, depending on if you have to commute for work.
Fair. Thank you, Deandra. Thank you for your input. And because I just did the sauna, you guys are getting a makeup-free version of me today, which is totally fine. I wanted to touch on the market here. I know I did a video a couple weeks ago just talking about general market conditions, but I thought it would be good to do another update. So even though right now we're seeing sales are up quite a bit over this same time last year, we're actually seeing about 16% more sales at this time this year than we saw last year, which is pretty significant. Right now we have 3,220 active listings versus last year This time last year, we had 2,756 listings. But even though we have more listings this time this year than we had this time last year, there has been way fewer new listings coming to the market. So even though there are more listings on the market to choose from, there are a lot of stale listings as well that aren't really moving. They're undergoing a number of price reductions. They've been on the market for quite some time. They're just kind of quirky, overpriced listings. So you have more inventory to choose from, but you're kind of having to sift through those overpriced, quirky ones to kind of like pick out the hidden gems. When I speak to that, I'm speaking predominantly to the single family home market. When it comes to the condo market, kind of the world's your oyster right now. You have tons of condo listings to choose from. The condo market here is a little bit of a tough market right now. It's a slow market, and especially that downtown condo market. If you are interested in potentially living downtown at some point, that is where you will probably see a lot of opportunities right now. The last couple of weeks, I've had 3 different sets of out-of-town buyers in town that I've been showing around who have told me that they want to move to Victoria, and I thought that it might be helpful for some of you to kind of hear, you know, what they're looking for and kind of the direction that I've pointed these different groups of people. So one of the couples that I worked with a couple weeks ago, they're moving out here from Ontario. They want to get away from the cold winters in Ontario. They just can't handle it anymore. They own a house in Ontario, and in that market, it would sell pretty quickly. They get a sense that it could probably sell within a week. So they came out here and we did a bit of scouting for them. We toured a bunch of different neighborhoods, and the number one thing that was the most important to them is walkability. And their price point is ideally up to about $850,000, maybe $900,000. They want 2 bedrooms. They want something that's pretty turnkey, move-in ready, not a lot of stairs, something that has, yeah, just incredible walkability. So we spent a lot of time looking at places in and around Cook Street Village. We looked at a handful of character conversions. So that's when you take a home, one of these larger homes, and divide it into a number of different units. You see quite a those in Fairfield, and some of them are really nice and have been updated more recently. This particular one we looked at had been updated by Zebra Design. It was beautiful. It was pretty new, very move-in ready, except it had a flight of stairs going up to it when you first walked in. So that was a bit of a pitfall, but we definitely spent a lot of time around that area. We also looked at a few condos in Oak Bay for them because they really loved the walkability there and how safe it all felt, and the sidewalks and kind of the cleanliness of that area of town, and lots of character homes and slightly older demographic in Oak Bay that they found kind of appealing. So they looked at a few places there. We did end up checking out a few places out in Broadmead for them because their money would go a little bit further in that part of Saanich, and they still had the walkability from a few places we looked at up to the Broadmead Village, which also has lots of amenities, but it didn't seem to have that same kind of walkability that they were looking for, and at their price point, a lot of the stuff was pretty close to the highway. So we kind of possibly have ruled that area out. Then we considered a new development over in the Gorge area, but after driving by and kind of walking around that area a little bit, they decided to rule it out. And so ultimately, I think they're going to focus on Fairfield and Oak Bay moving forward. And then last week I had a single older client, and they are looking to move here from Ontario as well. They have a townhouse in Ontario that they would need to sell that would also probably sell quite quickly in order to move out here, and they are looking for a very solid condo building, something with a really great reputation. They want steel and concrete. They don't want to hear a lot of noise from their neighbors, and they want to have a bit of a sense of community. So the first condo building that I showed them was the Aria. This is a building that I've helped some clients buy into earlier this year. It's located in the Humboldt Valley, and it's just kind of on the outskirts of downtown. and it has incredible walkability. The building is very, very, very reputable, steel and concrete, great amenities. You've got a gym, there's a steam room, there's like a ping pong table and a guest lounge and things. And one thing that that building is really great at is they have different things going on all the time in the evenings, and I think even during the day sometimes, where it's maybe like a little workout class or like a ping pong tournament or like a book night or something like that. So there's very much a sense of community in that building, which I think that they were really drawn to. I also showed them the Chelsea over on Burdett. This is a Concert Properties building. This is very, very reputable. It's lower rise, it's steel and concrete, it's got a brick facade. It's very, very timeless design, lovely units. A lot of them are overlooking this inner courtyard, slightly older demographic, a little bit more mature, a little bit more sophisticated, incredible walkability from that location. So we looked at that. And then just to kind of get a bit of a sampling, we popped over to Vic West on the other side of the bridge to look at the new Dockside Green development, which is a little bit enticing right now because the condo market's a little bit slower. And so these Dockside Green units, which is a beautiful, sustainable kind of eco building, they are offering GST included in their purchase price right now for these new units. And they've got incredible amenities. The gym is fantastic. The walkability over there is fantastic. But it is a little bit more industrial over there. So the views, you're overlooking a working harbor, you're overlooking a shipyard, and the demographic in Vic West is a little bit more young professionals. There's definitely a mixed demographic, but it's a little bit more leaning to that side of things. And this person was a little bit older, kind of more that retirement age. And so they liked it, they were glad they got the exposure to it, but they're kind of leaning the other direction between that Humboldt Valley and this other unit I showed them in the Chelsea on Burdett. And then I've been working with a couple the last couple of days who have 2 little kids. They're moving over here from Port Moody, and they also have something that they need to sell there. And we are looking for a very family-friendly neighborhood for them. They have a budget of about 1.1. They're really wanting a family-friendly neighborhood with lots of trees, a neighborhood that feels safe, good schools, things like that. And so with a price point of up to 1.1 for the amount of bedrooms and things they need, Oak Bay's kind of ruled out for move-in ready for them. I feel like Fairfield could still potentially have a few options for them, but it would likely be more of a half duplex or something like that versus an actual freestanding single family home. We looked out at a few places in Colwood. They really felt like their money went so much further out that way compared to a few places that we had looked at in town. They really liked some parts of Colwood. They really liked what we looked at in Lake Hill, which is a part of Saanich. Some really nice tree-lined streets and some bigger lots in there that were very appealing to them. And a lot of these places still needed a little bit of work, but not a ton of work, versus when we were looking at the places kind of in Fairfield, a few half duplexes and stuff there that really needed quite a bit of money. They had a few issues going on. So they're, I think, leaning more towards being in still a good neighborhood, but not one of these premium neighborhoods like Fairfield or Oak Bay or James Bay or things like that, because they want their money to just get them a little bit more house so they have room to grow into it. Because they were open to Colwood, I did suggest that they look into going into Royal Bay. Royal Bay can be a little cookie cutter. It is a little cookie cutter. You can't really get around that. That's just is what it is. However, my friends that live in Royal Bay that have kids, there's very much the dynamic of like the kids are all running around the cul-de-sacs and running in and out of all of their friends' houses, and they can walk to school and things like that. So it's really awesome from that standpoint. But with these particular clients who are wanting kind of like more old growth trees in their neighborhood, Royal Bay isn't going to have as much of that. However, it has started to fill in a little bit with more greenery, and I did suggest that they at least drive by that one, and so they were going to do that on their way back into town. If you are considering making a move here to Victoria or looking to buy or sell here in Victoria, BC, I would love to hear from you. I would love to help you, and you can get in touch with me via my contact details, which you will find listed below.